Several days pass after General Gao leaves with his new followers to form a new settlement. A raid team storms into a warehouse, ready to gather up all the supplies that they heard would be inside. Except instead of the swarms of devourers that they expected to be there, all they find are corpses scattered along the ground, and it looks like all the devourers have already been killed. The soldiers walk up to the supply truck, and despite looking like it has been driven through the desert, its gas tank is full. It has more than enough fuel to drive all of them back to the new base. Su Chen wasn't lying when he told them that there was a truckload of supplies in the building. Captain Sun is disappointed that there wasn't a big fight like he was expecting. This mission is too easy for someone like him, and it's nothing but a complete waste of time. One of the soldiers tells Sun that the general gave the more important missions to Su Chen, even though those important tasks used to belong to him. That ticks the large man off. But he's sure that Su Chen is just a pretty boy with no skills. There's no way he will be able to compete with a trained soldier like him for credit. Back at the new base, Union wonders why Captain Sun hasn't returned yet, despite the fact that all the devourers in the warehouse were killed by Su Chen a long time ago. All they had to do was get to the supermarket and drive the truck back. Even someone as brain-rotted as Captain Sun can handle that. Union isn't worried about him at all, and she's more concerned about the medical care of the refugees that Su Chen tasked them with. As they're talking, Duanya notices the truck driving back to the base. She advises Yun to shrink down since once they get close, it'll be hard to use her mental power to cloak her size. Captain Sun reports back to General Gao, who's managing the base. The supplies have been secured and delivered, and the base can now have food. The few survivors nearby hear that Su Chen's advice about the trucks was real, and they start to praise him. There were doubts on if he would actually be able to solve their food problem, but it looks like they didn't have to doubt him at all. The more they mention Su Chen, the more upset Captain Sun becomes, and he convinces himself that all the pretty boy is doing is brainwashing people. Eventually he'll slip up, and all the fame will go back to the one who deserves it. Suddenly one of the soldiers rushes over and reports that there are signs of devourer tribe activity near a hospital to the south. It looks like it's a tribe of a few dozen, and they look ready to attack. Captain Sun smirks, knowing that this is his opportunity to show people who the real protector is. Meanwhile, Su Chen is still out on his mission with Bei Kang and Xiao Feng. Their plan is to raid a military base near their base. The entrance has long since been flooded, and it has become a death trap full of mutated corpses. Even if they manage to get it, there are only 3 of them, and they won't be able to carry all the supplies out with them. Su Chen tells them not to worry about that for now. All they need to do is take him to the armory. Bei Kang agrees and decides to personally bring him there. After all, she's been to the base before. But first, to get there, they need a vehicle. Su Chen uses his space ability to summon his car, and the 2 soldiers almost panic at how random his ability is. He tells them to stop talking and get in the car so they can get there in time. Then they cruise through the empty streets towards the military base. At the military base, some of Zhang Jianshu's men work to drain the large pool of water covering the base's entrance. No matter how much water they pump though, it never seems to be enough. The leader of the team tells the rest to go and find a few useless items from their storage, and throw them into the water as bait for the water ghouls. Since the city supplies have mysteriously disappeared, if they don't bring something back, then they are as good as dead. The men grab some hostages and throw them into the water filled with water ghouls. The plan works, and the ghouls get lured to the surface, which means that someone can dive in to check the place out. The leader tells his men that whoever goes down to pry open the door will be rewarded with a woman by the city lord once they get back. One of the men steps up to take on the task. Before the apocalypse, he had no money and no woman. So now that the apocalypse is in full swing, he has to take any chance he has to make it ahead in life. His courage motivates the others to start diving too. Meanwhile, Xiao Feng watches the men as they try to get into the military base. It seems like Zhang Jianshu has set his eyes on the base's supplies and weapons as well. Luckily, Bei Kang knows another way around that can avoid the city lord's army, but they will have to dive underwater. Su Chen accepts the idea, and the 3 of them dive into the ghoul-infested waters to try and reach their target. As they swim through the dark water, Bei Chang notices several eyes watching them from deeper in the pool. It's the water ghouls, and the shock of seeing them causes her to gasp and lose her last bit of air. Su Chen pulls her close and calms her down. Then he kisses her, transferring some oxygen into her mouth. That manages to save her from drowning, but the water ghouls take the opportunity to attack them while they're down. Su Chen uses his ability to stop them before they can attack, and they all stop dead in their tracks, almost like they've been hypnotized. His eyes glow red, and Bei Kang realizes that he is somehow controlling all the water ghouls with one of his abilities. The ability wears off, and some of the ghouls start trying to attack them again. Su Chen manages to hold a few of them and tells Bei Kang and Xiao Fen to escape while he handles them. They rush to the surface and manage to make it out of the floodwaters into the military base. With the number of abilities Su Chen has, They start to wonder if he's human, as several bodies start floating up from the water, as our protagonist wipes them out. They wonder how many abilities he has that they don't even know about. After taking out all the ghouls, Su Chen emerges from the water completely unharmed. After taking out all the water ghouls, one of them managed to drop a white core, which has a low drop rate in monsters. Getting a white core in such a short time is usually a miracle. But Su Chen doesn't seem satisfied. Although a white core doesn't grant new abilities, it can strengthen old ones, making him even stronger than he already is. As they talk, two yellow eyes watch them menacingly from a distance. The silhouette looks like a cat, and it seems particularly interested in the crystal Su Chen is holding. It leaps out as soon as he's distracted and snatches the crystal from his hand before he can react. Why is a cat even in the military base in the first place? The base probably had cats to control any rat problems they had, and one must have survived the apocalypse by staying strapped in the base. The feline has dark black fur and glowing stripe patterns all over its body with bright yellow eyes. The kitty is quite impressive since it managed to snatch the core from Su Chen's hand before he could even react. Su Chen angrily but calmly tries to offer the little guy some superfish snacks, in hope that it will trade that for the white core. However, the cat leaps up and manages to snatch the snacks from his hand before running deeper into the base with both its prices. It looks like the great and powerful Su Chen has been outwitted by a cat twice in the space of a minute. Anything that survives in the apocalypse can't be an ordinary creature, and there definitely seems to be something special about that cat. They keep walking through the base, and eventually they find a lever that reactivates the electricity in the base. Thankfully, the power systems are still operational despite how long they've been abandoned. Before the Great Flood, the survivors evacuated in a hurry, which means that there was no way they had time to take all their supplies with them. They finally arrive in the base's arsenal, and there's enough weapons to arm a force of up to 500 people. Xiaofeng figures that if they can find a tank, then they might even be able to arm 1,000 people. Beikang warns him to be careful as he runs off to find a tank. The storage is full of things they will definitely be needing, but the problem now is how to get everything back to the base. The City Lord's troops could show up at any moment, and going back to the safe zone for reinforcements is out of the question. A loud rumbling noise drags them out of their thoughts. Xiaofeng found a tank, but unfortunately, something else found him. It's a large mutated monster that almost looks like a giant dog. It's chasing Xiaofeng, who is desperately driving away in his tank. The monster shoots a laser from its snout and it hits the tank dead on. The panicking soldier asks Su Chen to do something since if it blows up the armory, then they will probably get blown up along with it. Su Chen activates his space ability and stores everything from the warehouse into his pocket dimension. In a matter of seconds, the warehouse is cleaned out as Xiaofeng drives up to them. He asks if Su Chen can store the monster in his space. But unfortunately, the space only works on inorganic material. Living mutated creatures can't be stored in it, meaning that they have to find another way to take care of the monster. Beikang decides to step up to the occasion and lure the monsters away, while Su Chen and Xiaofeng retreat. That's a reasonably stupid idea for Su Chen, and he grabs her instead and carries her over to the tank. Beikang tries to protest and tells him that since the supplies are in his space, then he has to make it back to the base safely. As they're talking, the monster rushes up to them and charges up another blast. Su Chen manages to dodge out of the way, but the tank isn't so lucky and gets blasted head-on. Su Chen tells her to stop wasting time and to go check on Xiaofeng while he deals with the monster. She runs off but orders him not to die on her. Now that he's alone with the monster, he takes a good look at it one more time. He doesn't remember hearing about a mutated beast like it in the area during his last life. That doesn't matter though, because its crystal core will belong to him regardless. Back in the smelly sewers, a deep loud rumble came from the entrance of the base. The City Lord's men jumped, all confused. The blast sounded like it came from inside. One of them noticed the water level dropping fast and guessed that something underground probably cracked. The fat guy wasn't happy at all. He shouted, saying someone must have snuck in first, and told his men to go take care of them. But his men weren't paying attention. They were staring off into the distance. One guy pointed out a rabbit and said he hadn't eaten rabbit meat in a long time. Another one agreed but said the rabbit looked kinda weird. It was smiling in a creepy way. It didn't look cute at all. The rabbit didn't like what they said. It let out a nasty scream as a bunch of tentacles shot out from its body. The men froze in shock, their eyes wide with fear. The tentacles dug right into them. In no time, the fat guy's face twisted and looked just like the creepy rabbit. Meanwhile, Su Chen was still locked in a fight with that dog monster. His punches were strong, but the monster blocked them easily. It could match his hits and even fire powerful laser beams. Su Chen dodged as best as he could. The thing's body was tough, like steel. It reminded him of Zhang Jiangshu, that level 2 guy who walked away from an explosion without a single scratch. Su Chen wasn't on that level yet. His hand was already bruised. The monster didn't let up. It kept attacking. Su Chen thought to himself that even though the monster was strong, it wasn't unbeatable. The real problem was that weird vine inside its head. He needed to get rid of it. But before he could, the monster wrapped him up with more tentacles and blasted pink energy straight at him. He used his teleport power just in time to dodge it. Then he heard a sound. It was that cat again. Its body looked like it was glowing with power as it walked toward him, growling. Suchin was surprised to see it here and told it to stay back since things were dangerous. But the cat kept coming. It looked serious. Suchin asked if it was a mutated beast too. Not far from there, Bai Tang was digging through the broken pieces of rubble left by the monster. She was yelling out for Xiaofeng. After a second, Xiaofeng's voice came from under the rocks. She said she dodged just in time and almost got crushed. Bai Chang started moving the rocks quickly, saying she'd get her out. Suddenly they heard creepy laughter. Bai Tang yelled for whoever it was to show themselves. That's when the city lord's men stepped out from the shadows, smiling in a creepy way with twisted faces. Bai Chang was shocked. She realized that they were the ones who opened the gate, but something was seriously wrong with how they looked. The pig-faced guy stared at her with a gross look in his eyes. Bai Chang could tell they weren't normal anymore. Back with Su Chen, the cat let out a loud roar. Its claws grew longer, and its eyes were glowing like crazy. It seemed angry that someone called it a kitty. Su Chen, feeling a little nervous, asked if it just got bigger. But the cat wasn't focused on him. It was going after the dog monster. Su Chen watched and thought cats and dogs really don't get along. It was clear the two monsters hated each other. Su Chen stepped closer and said the cat probably used that energy core to bring them here. He got serious and told the cat they should work together. The cat, sensing how strong he was, seemed unsure. Su Chen jumped onto its back. The cat didn't resist. They were going to fight as a team now. Now that Su Chen's sitting on the giant cat, it's clearly not happy. It tries to shake him off, but he holds on tight. With serious looks on their faces, both charge straight at the dog monster. Even though the cat's not thrilled about carrying him, there's no time to argue. The monster strikes first, and the cat goes right back at it with its claws. Su Chen watches closely. The cat's claws barely scratch the monster. It's not enough. Su Chen pats the cat and tells it to move fast and distract the vines. He'll do the rest. The cat doesn't really want to, but it listens. As the monster attacks again, the shockwave blasts through a wall, and water starts pouring in. The cat zips around the monster, slicing the vines apart with ease. Su Chen takes his chance, jumps off the cat, and lands a solid punch right to the monster's face, sending it flying. The cat, clearly impressed, starts to take things more seriously. They team up properly now. The monster goes wild, swinging and firing everywhere, but the cat is way too quick. In seconds, the thing's body is covered in deep cuts. Eventually, it drops to the ground. The core rolls out from what's left of it. The cat, eyes locked on the core, jumps toward it. But Su Chen gets there first and snatches it. He pops it into his mouth without a second thought. The cat lets out an annoyed meow, but Su Chen just ignores it. Meanwhile, the water keeps rising. Su Chen looks around and figures the place is going to be underwater soon. Out of nowhere, he hears panicked meowing. That same big scary cat from earlier is now splashing around like a scared kitten, begging for help. Su Chen picks it up and teases it a bit, asking if it's scared of water. He says he'll protect it if it stays with him. The cat shakes its head and tries to wriggle free, so Su Chen tosses it back into the water. But right away, the cat scrambles back up onto him, crying like it's changed its mind. The cat agrees immediately, clearly not wanting to be left behind. He tells it again, this is its choice. Elsewhere, Bai Tang is trapped. The city lord's men are surrounding her. Faces twisted and creepy. She can tell they're not human anymore. Xiaofeng's voice shouts that the tank won't start and tells her to leave. But Bai Chang doesn't know where to run, and she's not planning to abandon the fight. Then, in the distance, she spots a rabbit. But it's not a normal rabbit. This one's got sharp teeth and a creepy smile. Its real form comes out, a mess of vines draining energy from the city lord's men and using their bodies like puppets. Before she can react, the vines come at her from behind. Xiaofeng yells a warning. The vines tear at her clothes and try to wrap her up. The monster rabbit jumps at her, ready to bite down. She braces herself, thinking it's over. But just in time, Xiaofeng's tank roars to life. It slams right into the rabbit and knocks it away. He's yelling, furious that the monster touched Bai Tang. The tank fires again and again, the night sky lighting up from the blasts. The rabbit gets torn apart by the explosions. Bai Tang is left stunned, staring in shock. Xiaofeng leans back in his seat, tired but relieved. He thinks it's finally over. But he doesn't see the monster core, now moving straight toward his face. The core flies straight into Xiaofeng's mouth. He looks shocked. His eyes start glowing as he takes in the power. Bai Kang rushes over and asks if he's okay. He says he's fine, but he's holding his stomach and says he feels weird. Su Chen walks up with the cat and asks if he really just ate the core. Bai Tang looks at him like he's crazy. Xiaofeng asks why he can't feel any powers. He wonders if there's some trick to it. Su Chen says the best way to figure it out is by fighting, but first they need to leave. Su Chen looks over at Bai Kong's ripped clothes. She tells him the monster did it. Then she spots the cat and gives him a look. She asks why he has a cat in the middle of the apocalypse. Su Chen just picks it up and says it's with him now. The scene changes to the city. Black crows fly around. A girl is hanging from a lamppost. Nearby, some guys from the Dao clan are bothering another girl. She's crying and begging to be let go. One of the guys says the more she begs, the more fun it is for him. More Dao clan guys walk over. They start laughing and making creepy comments. Then they drag the girl away. She keeps begging them not to kill her. One of them tells her that if she listens, he'll keep her as a slave. If not, he'll hang her up like the other girl. Scared and shaking, she gives in. She says she'll do her best. The guy smiles and calls her a good girl. Then her screams start echoing through the city. Su Chen's car drives in. One Dao clan guy sees it and gets annoyed. He says they should finish quickly and have fun later. Xiaofeng gets out of the car and walks toward them. The Dao clan guys get mad and yell about how these random kids are ruining everything. One tells the others to kill them and eat them later. Bai King asks if Xiaofeng can handle 3 guys on his own. Su Chen, still playing with the cat, tells her not to worry. He's here as backup. He thinks to himself, if Xiaofeng really is the god of war like in his past life, then this should be easy. Fighting is also the best way to unlock powers anyway. The Dao clan guys feel disrespected because Xiaofeng isn't even moving. They yell at him for standing there like he's tough. Then they charge at him and start punching. Bai Sang freaks out and says he's going to be killed, but Su Chen says he's got it under control. Xiaofeng is learning how to use his power. One Dao clan guy is shocked that Xiaofeng isn't getting hurt. Xiaofeng starts glowing and says he's been soaking up their energy. They don't believe it and keep swinging. Then Xiaofeng's eyes glow even more. He yells that it's not just absorbing, it's stealing. Blue light surrounds him as he drains their power. The Dao clan guys scream, saying their strength is being sucked out. Su Chen watches and thinks this is wild. Xiaofeng is like a black hole. He's pulling in everything around him. Su Chen is now sure, this guy is the real deal. Out of nowhere, a giant axe flies through the air and slices off all 3 Dao clan guys' heads. Xiaofeng stands there stunned. Captain Sun shows up with 500 soldiers. He says he came just in time or Xiaofeng would have ended up as food. Then, without even blinking, he asks for their food as a thank you. Xiaofeng is confused, but Su Chen tells him to get in the car. Su Chen walks over and hands Captain Sun some food, saying this is all they have left. Captain Sun opens it, takes a look, and loses it. It's dog food. He starts yelling, but Su Chen is already driving off, yelling back for him to enjoy the meal. One of Sun's men asks why he didn't kill Xiaofeng when he had the chance. Sun says the axe moved on its own. He looks mad and says the general trusts that outsider more than his own soldiers. Another guy says now that Xiaofeng has powers, they'll be kicked out of the spotlight. Captain Sun says if the general doesn't trust him anymore, then he'll just make his own move. He clearly wants to take over. Back in the car, Su Chen asks Xiaofeng if Captain Sun has a problem with him. Xiaofeng says nope, he's always been like that. Su Chen thinks Xiaofeng can't even protect himself from his own team. If he didn't step in, Xiaofeng would be toast. That means Captain Sun might be up to something. Su Chen figures he's building his own team inside the base. If that's the case, he'll handle it himself. Meanwhile, at the base construction site, the workers cheer as Yun helps build the wall. She's moving fast and getting it done like it's nothing. One worker says they've gotten way faster with her helping. Yun smiles and says that she needs to eat a lot whenever she transforms. The workers say it's fine. As long as the wall keeps everyone safe, they don't care. One guy even wipes away tears while saying it. Then Yun spots a car in the distance. She gets so happy as she sees that Su Chen is back. Su Chen's car enters the base, driving through streets packed with workers fixing the place up. The cat jumps out of the car, but Su Chen tells it to chill and not scare anyone. The cat meows like it actually gets what he's saying. Bai King watches it and says the cat looks super happy. Xiaofeng asks if Su Chen's not scared it might run away. Su Chen stores the car into his space and says he spent a ton on snacks and ice cream for it on the way back. He says the cat's basically living like a king. Where else would it get that kind of life? Later, they head to a big empty warehouse. Gao asks if the space is big enough. Su Chen says yeah, it's good. Then he uses his power, and a flash of light fills the room. Gao stares with wide eyes. Huge piles of stuff from the military base suddenly appear, like mountains of supplies. Su Chen says with all these weapons the base's safety is pretty much handled. Gao is still shocked and asks why Su Chen told them about his power. Su Chen just laughs and says they're all in this together now, so if he doesn't trust them, who can he trust? Gao agrees and says without Su Chen, this new base wouldn't even exist. He promises to keep Su Chen's secret. Then General Bai Kong says the base doesn't have a name yet. She says since Su Chen helps so much, they should name it the Dawnlight Base. Gao thinks about it and says that name sounds nice. It stands for hope and new beginnings. Su Chen's a bit surprised and says in his last life, The base Gao Wei built was the last safe place left. Now it's named after him. That's a big deal. While all that's happening, the cat wanders off into an operating room. Someone's praising Duanya, saying she handled the surgery like a pro. She says the conditions aren't great and a lot of people are already too far gone. Then someone mentions how nice it would be to take back the hospital from the Dao clan, since it probably still has a lot of medical stuff. She picks up a scalpel and the cat flinches, clearly freaked out. It remembers something bad from the past, watching one of its siblings get neutered. It lets out a loud meow. Duanya turns around and sees the shaking cat. She walks over and gently pets it, asking where it came from. She guesses it's hungry and picks it up. She says she'll ask Su Chen if they can keep it when he comes back. Things are already hard enough for everyone, but maybe they can make it work. She brings the cat back to her room and tells it this is their place for now. Just as she's about to take her shoes off, someone grabs her from behind. He calls her beautiful and tells her to have some fun. She yells and tries to fight him off as he pins her arms over her head. Even the cat freezes, too scared to move. But when she opens her eyes, she sees it's Su Chen. She's shocked and asks when he got back. He says he's the only one who doesn't fall for her mental tricks. She gets it now. He lets her go. After that, Duanya takes the cat to wash up. She talks to it and says Su Chen must have brought it back. Then she looks at its fur and says the gold stripes look nice. She decides to name it Gold. The cat seems pretty happy, enjoying the warm water and her gentle scrubbing. Su Chen walks into the bathroom and hears her call it Gold. He says it's a nice name, but asks if she forgot she's supposed to help him bathe. She asks about the armory and if he found anything. Su Chen pulls out a core and says of course, now he can level up to level 2. Gold stares at the core looking confused. Didn't he already eat that thing? Su Chen laughs and says things were too crazy earlier, so he just hid it in his space. But he felt like he really needed it, so he brought it back. Then he puts the core in his mouth. Duanya gets shocked and asks if he's really going to eat it now, but it's too late. Su Chen's body starts to change. His skin turns darker, red veins pop up, and this strong energy comes off him. Duanya gasps and says this must be level 2. The whole bathroom shakes from the power. She yells at Su Chen to stop because she can't take it anymore. But Su Chen just keeps going. Outside, Yunyan is helping with the wall when she hears weird noises from the bathroom. Gold doesn't care at all and keeps purring. Yunyan frowns and walks over. She peeks in and sees Su Chen holding Duanya close in the bath. She yells out, asking why Su Chen didn't come find her first. She's mad. She shrinks back to normal size and storms into the bathroom. When Duanya sees her, she calls out for help. Yunyan freaks out, calling Su Chen's name in a panic. Su Chen steps out of the bath, his whole body glowing with that level 2 energy. He looks over and says she showed up at the perfect time. Right now, Duanya and Yunyan are both lying on the bed, totally drained after everything with Su Chen. They look like they just ran a marathon. Both of them say his name at the same time, barely able to move. Turns out, messing around with a level 2 human is no joke. Duanya says she feels like she's about to pass out. Yunyan agrees, saying the side effects are way too much. Su Chen apologizes and says he might have absorbed too many cores. Yunyan says they both need to get stronger too, or else Su Chen's just going to keep overpowering them like this. Duanya agrees and asks how his powers have changed now that he's level 2. Su Chen decides to check for himself. First, he tries out his physical ability. His berserk and serpent powers have merged into one. His skin turns dark and now it's even tougher than steel. There's a strange energy flowing across his body too, kind of like a force field. He wonders if he can actually use it to attack. He holds out his hand toward the girls and suddenly they get blasted across the room, blankets and all. They land on the floor with a thud. Su Chen laughs, saying his attack power is way stronger now. Next, he tries his spatial ability. Before, he could only open space where he touched it. Now he can make small spatial gates all around him within 20 meters. Yunyan calls him a jerk for throwing them like that. Su Chen just keeps going. Then he tests out his ice powers. Before he could just make ice shards. Now he can cover his body in layers of ice too. It's not super useful yet, but it's something. Then he gets an idea. He channels the ice into the spatial gates and shoots shards out from different directions. Each one hits like a bullet. He says this will be great for sneak attacks. Duanya and Yunyan are both kind of shocked. Yunyan says if he keeps evolving like this, he might be shooting rockets next. Duanya agrees. Finally, Su Chen tries his mental sense. His sharing gun activates. The range hasn't changed much, but now he can sense everything inside his body. Like he's got some kind of built-in scanner. But then something weird happens. He suddenly feels like he's not in his body anymore. He looks around but sees that everything is strange. He realizes he's inside some kind of mental world. Then he hears a voice. It's that woman from the lab where the mutated rat was. She tells him they meet again. Su Chen recognizes her right away and is confused. He thought she was gone, but she tells him he swallowed her core, and now she's living inside him like a parasite. Her hair whips out and ties him up. Su-chen's really pissed off now as steel body and spatial jumps don't work in this mental space. She says since she's here now, she wants something from him. She leans in trying to kiss him, but our boy is definitely not falling for it. He remembers he has another power, so he summons chains and traps her before she can get close. She tries to break free but can't. He tells her straight up he doesn't trust her. She tells him he can't kill her here, since her real body is fused with him. Su-chen says fine, then she can stay trapped here forever. The woman refuses to give up. Her hair shoots out of the ground and wraps all around him like a giant web. Su-chen tries to fight it, but he gets completely covered, like some kinda obese mummy. She laughs and says now no one is leaving. She wants them to stay here together, locked in this mental space forever and ever. Now our MC is trapped together with the parasitic Xiao, whom he trapped with him. He is trapped in her cocoon which he can't break out of, and she is trapped in his bindings. If they continue like this, they will be trapped there in the conscious part of his mind for a very long time. So she suggests that they talk instead. Our boy is willing to listen. So she goes on to tell him how she only needs just a bit of his ability to survive. It will be too little to actually affect him. And she doesn't have the power to take over his body even if she wanted to. Our ruthless protagonist doesn't trust her and inquires about how she intends to leave his body. She reveals to him that leaving just like that would mean instant game over for her, unless he can find for her another suitable female host that is a strong ability user. Also good looking with a hot body too. Talk about being picky even in her current position in all this. Our boy asks how he would know if someone is suitable, and she tells him that she will inform him if they meet the one. She also goes on to promise him a sweet reward for helping her find a new body, but our MC isn't even interested in any of that. He just warns her to stay out of his business, and she will do well to heed to that warning unless she wants to be next on his chopping block. She hurriedly agrees to do just that and begs him to release her from his binding, which he does, and she releases him from her cocoon. After that, he is able to return to his real body in the normal world. His women Duanya and Yunyun express how they were really worried about him for a second there. They had thought his soul had left his body completely. That statement makes our boy Su-chen begin to worry as well. In order to minimize risks as much as possible, he takes extra measures by freezing the entire space Xiao is in. You definitely cannot be too careful when it's the literal end of the world. At least his ice powers are still very much effective even in that mind space. He thinks that he better hurry up and find her a suitable body, and commands his woman Duanya to find him other women at once. His women misinterpret the situation and conclude that he is not satisfied with them. Our sleek MC, now realizing what he said, quickly changes his words and directs it towards a general concern for the rest of the refugees. He definitely isn't planning on replacing them anytime soon or anything of the sort. After all that, Su-chen and his lady Duanya go for a walk and she explains the situation to him. The general, Gao, has already done a head count, and the base currently has 1,300 people. Of that number, over 400 are soldiers responsible for security. These soldiers have already succeeded in repelling several attacks by the Devourer tribe and other mutated monsters. The other men are currently building temporary walls. Yun is giving them a huge helping hand in a literal sense, and it's making the work go a lot smoother and faster. The women and children, on the other hand, are clearing mutated plants that are sprouting within the territory and also handling logistics. Some got injured by mutated plants while trying to clear them. But Duanya and other medical students are taking care of them in the surgical room they have set up, so that is being handled. Duanya hopes that once the wall is completed, everyone can take a breather and relax a bit, although our boy doesn't really think anyone will have a chance to relax. Not at this time. Although security and supply needs have been resolved for the most part temporarily, they still need to take over the hospital occupied by the Devourer tribe, so as to obtain medical resources. The matter is being discussed in a meeting, and the general in charge, Gao, is open to suggestions as to how to carry this mission out successfully. Captain Bai's brother is about to suggest Captain Sun, who is currently their best fighter and has the most coordinated team, but he is stopped short as the bull-headed Sun cuts him off, inquiring about our protagonist's whereabouts. He complains that our MC is hypocritical if he encourages the establishment of a new base but doesn't show up for meetings like this. General Gao cautions him to watch his words. The truth remains that without our MC there wouldn't even be a base, and he definitely wouldn't be here to talk crap all day, so he had best watch his tone. Gao reckons that the Sun is way too short-sighted. In the past, Su-chen had willingly entrusted leadership to him. Our boy wasn't interested in all that, but he did trust Gao enough to leave everything in his care. He did warn him though, that even with the protection of the base, if he's not vigilant, it can be gone in an instant, and everything will be destroyed. Gao understood this and still took on the role. He knew that a strong being like our MC would never stop pursuing more power, and leading a base would only slow him down. Back to the present. Gao ensures Sun and everyone else that our protagonist will step in without hesitation if need be. Sun points out that the enemy they are about to face is really strong, and he cannot bear any responsibility for any loss of life that might occur, basically suggesting that there definitely will be loss of lives in the battle. So Gao then decides to send Lu Xiaofeng for assistance. He also promises to ask our MC for help to ensure their complete victory. Sun then agrees to this, and leaves the meeting to go prepare for the mission. On his way, his subordinate asks him why they are still obeying commands when they are already planning to seize power and control of this base for themselves. Sun then reveals to him that he is worried about our boy and his pal Xiaofeng, because they are both ability users. But this mission just presented the perfect opportunity to take care of them both swiftly, and without suspicion. After that, taking over the base would be much easier. Meanwhile, back at the meeting, Captain Bai's brother points out to Gao that things turned out exactly the way our MC thought it would. Gao can only hope that Sun doesn't do something incredibly stupid. He then inquires about the city and scouting it, and he replies that he has sent his field team there already. Suchin had informed them earlier on about something huge that is currently going down there. At He City, which is another refuge zone, the field team sent there to scout is none other than our MC's old pals, Miao Puyuan and Tian Yue, who are currently in hiding. Miao Puyan can't help but be jealous of our MC's rapidly growing strength, and asks his partner if they could beg him for some crystal cores. Tian Yue shuns him in the idea. They should be grateful enough that Su Chan risked his life to save theirs. Besides, true strength depends on oneself. He understands this. But they have been fighting monsters and zombies like crazy, and still have no luck. It is getting frustrating. As he is still complaining, he is cut short by his partner. Tian Yue can hear footsteps. People are approaching them. Well, the people aren't approaching them exactly. They are actually approaching the gates of the city the men are scouting. Two dumb-looking goons come to deliver female slaves as goods to the city lord. Among these women is that masochistic psychopath from the Federal Bureau of Evolution, Jie. After inspecting them, the guards lead them into the city to meet the city lord. The two goons can already smell the fortune they are about to make and are really excited.